What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF back with another pregame live stream as the Lakers face the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, today's going to be a tough video to make because I know the chat room, I know the comment section is going to be split. But y'all got to hear me out before y'all make your final verdict about what I'm about to say, right? Now, if you guys have been on social media the last couple of days, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Not just social media, but the mainstream media, television, everything. The way they're talking about the Lakers is basically like our season is over. And that could very well be so. But I'm about to get into the whole LeBron James versus the young core thing. Now, here's my opinion on this, all right? From the beginning of the time, since we can remember, there's always been finger pointing in LA when we struggle, right? A lot of praise and a lot of love when we win. But since the Kobe Shaq era, since before then, there's always finger pointing. But not necessarily from the players, more so from the media and from fans. Now, this will probably be one of the first times in a while where there's finger pointing from a star. And hear me out, because I know LeBron James are going to be upset at me. LeBron James fans, look, here's the thing. It was wrong what LeBron did, point blank and period. I know you guys are very apologetic and you're going to excuse everything he does as, he's the best player on the team. He needs more help, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now, this is where you're wrong. LeBron James is the best player on the team, and he could use more help, definitely. But he needs to be a leader on both ends of the floor before he can open his mouth. You can't point the finger as a superstar, as a quote-unquote leader. And that's a problem I've always had with LeBron. He always somehow tends to point the finger and rid himself of any of the blame. Well, guess what, LeBron? Guess what? Your defense is an A1 steak sauce, man. So you got to take blame for that. Number two, you and Rich Paul could have killed the chemistry with the failed Anthony Davis trade. Now, I'm not saying it was a bad thing that they tried to get Anthony Davis, but since it did leak, the chemistry looks dead. And not just that, but he's not. We live in a softer era where players need to be encouraged. And from the last couple of games, what I've noticed, when players reach out to give him 5 or whatever, he looks really disgruntled. He doesn't give them 5. He doesn't acknowledge them when they make a good play. He's not really encouraging them. LeBron, to me right now, looks like a person who is not happy that the trade didn't go down and he's pretty much ready to mail it in this season. That's what it looks like. We saw one game of playoff LeBron, and the next game he kind of coasted during certain parts of the game, especially on the defensive end. So that's for LeBron fans. LeBron is not perfect, and as a Laker fan, I can accept that. But you can't go overboard and blame your teammates, especially when you're struggling yourself defensively and even on the offensive end. I feel like he's settling too much for jumpers. He's still not healthy, whatever the reason may be. That's number one. Thing number two, now this is for the Laker fans that regret having LeBron and wish we would have never got him and all that. Now, you're kind of wrong as well. Even though I'm with you as far as supporting the young core, this is why you're wrong. Because the jury's still out on the LeBron James acquisition. LeBron James has not had a good coach, and I know that's not an excuse, but when LeBron James was taking over earlier in the season and the young core was healthy and they were playing inspired basketball before the trade and all that, for the trade talks, we were the 4th seed. So the jury's still out on LeBron. We can't be saying outlandish stuff like, we should never got LeBron. We should trade LeBron. I understand. What he did was out of desperation. And when you're losing, the ugly side tends to come out, especially out of superstars. But LeBron is no exception. And even though I didn't appreciate what he said, I understand why he said it, because he's desperate. And, pretty much his legacy is on the line here. Remember, he is 3-6 in the finals. And if he doesn't make the playoffs in the West, that kind of makes everybody look like they were right about LeBron. Like he's only dominating because he's in the East, right? So he is in desperation mode. And I kind of like the fire, except for throwing his teammates under the bus. But I do like that it hurts him to lose. And hopefully the young core get the good side of that instead of the bad side, the fact that they're being blamed for the most part for it. And they learn how not to be happy when they lose, because it is true what he said. We have been used to losing, but that's because we've had poor coaching and we haven't put the right roster around this team. And But again, he's not exempt. He did help form this team. He did bring JaVale. He brought Stevenson. He brought Rondo. So he's not exempt from everything either. So it's neither here or there. What I say, and this is my opinion, because people have been asking me on Twitter, the Lakers this season potentially could be a wash. Number one, because we didn't get rid of Luke Walton in time. Horrible coaching costed us plenty of games. All right. Number two, it's because of injuries. And number three, because of that failed trade that ruined the chemistry. So instead of just pointing the finger at the young core or at LeBron James, why don't we just stay patient, man, and see what happens this summer? Because we can't judge the young core for, basically looking lifeless out there at times when they feel unwanted. They're not encouraged. They don't have a good coach, and their superstar leader is not really leading them right now. And you can't blame LeBron fully, even though, again, I dislike what he said. He should never, as a leader, throw your teammates under the bus. You got to take some of the blame. Your defense isn't on point. But you can't blame LeBron fully either, because he doesn't have a good coach. He doesn't have a second superstar, and we've dealt with plenty of injuries. So to me, again, this season was a crucial one as far as recruiting free agents. But if a free agent wants to feel needed, it's still the perfect landing destination, because if the Lakers, even if they miss the playoffs, you can always preach to the free agent and tell them, look, man, with you, there's no way we're missing the playoffs and we're going to become a contender. LeBron still has a lot of game. After all, he is averaging 27, right? And the young core has a lot of game too. People want to throw them under the bus, but check it out. Kuzma, 19 points per game, efficient from the field, like 5 rebounds per game, and he's gotten better on defense. Brandon Ingram, 17.8 points per game, like 5 rebounds, like 4 assists, 3 assists per game, and he's shooting close to 50% from the field. So at the end of the day, guys, it's not one person's fault. The front office takes blame in this for not doing their job properly and firing Luke Walton as well, as far as that goes, and not building enough shooters around LeBron, Lonzo, and all the young core and all these guys. So everyone gets the blame. Now, we shouldn't be divided as a fan base. Now, LeBron fans, you definitely shouldn't be disrespecting Laker fans. We've been watching the Lakers since before you even got here. When you guys were on LeBron's coattails, following him through Cleveland and Miami, we were still here in LA, with or without Kobe, even after he retired. We've been here. So you got to respect our fanmanship. We know more than you guys as far as the Lakers go. Now, you guys know more than us as far as LeBron goes, and we'll give you that. But I'm not disrespecting your superstar, your favorite player. Not disrespecting him, just saying that he also shares some of the blame. And I did not like exactly what he did a couple of nights ago, where he pretty much tried to wash his hands and say they're not used to winning. I can never get used to that. They got to, question their priorities. Nah, man, you can't say that after you tried to trade him. You understand? So at the end of the day, man, it's everybody's fault, and hopefully they can redeem themselves before the season ends. Now, I'm going to get to you guys' questions in the comment section in a little bit, but I just wanted to get this all off my chest because a lot of you guys been asking me, basically to pick a side, and I'm not going to pick either side. First of all, LeBron came here. He's the first superstar we've had since Kobe Bryant, right? So it's only been a couple of years since we didn't have one, and he came here to make us better, and he did make us better when we were healthy. Injuries, poor coaching, and a failed trade ruined all that. So at the end of the day, LeBron doesn't take the full blame for it. Neither does the young core. Neither does the front office, because potentially the front office can't even operate properly if Genie is not allowing Magic to do his job and fire Luke Walton. So again, none of them take the full blame. I know it looks bad. We have fans that say, oh, the Lakers should never traded DAngelo. They should have never did this. They should have never did that. And they should have instead built the other way and not added LeBron. So I understand what you're saying, but you wouldn't be saying that if we still had DAngelo, if we wouldn't have drafted Kuzma, and we still had Dang and Mozgov on the payroll and still not landed a superstar. I promise you that the story plot would have been Lakers still haven't landed a superstar in years. Are they no longer the glamour franchise? You understand what I'm saying? So either way, there's going to be trouble in paradise as long as you're not winning. As soon as you start winning, everything goes away. None of this controversy was present when the Lakers were the 4th team in the West, right? So that's all I'm saying, man. We got to give this team a little more time. We got to give LeBron another superstar. We got to give the young players more time to develop. We got to fire the head coach. There's things we have to do before we can, before the jury's out on LeBron, before the jury's out on the young guys. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I take nobody's side but the Lakers side. They need to improve. Winning cures everything. And we can't be arguing amongst each other. And I remember, if LeBron fans say that the whole young core is trash, you ignore them because either one, they don't know basketball or they're blinded by their fanmanship to LeBron, period. That's not accurate at all. If a player that averages 19 points and a player that averages 17 points is trash to you, then you should just seriously watch something else, not basketball. That's number one. And on the other side of the spectrum, to those of you saying that LeBron is, a diva and a crybaby and all this and this and that, all I can say is losing is frustrating. And sometimes, your true colors come out when you lose. However, it's not all completely LeBron's fault either. I'm pretty sure that when Magic brought him here, he promised them to compete from day one. So if you have to understand both sides of the spectrum. Superstars don't like to lose. I understand LeBron's not the greatest as far as keeping his composure. He tends to throw people under the bus, but that is what we signed up for. And we knew that. That always was my criticism of LeBron. That's why I always used to say I like LeBron's skills. I'm a fan of his on-court style of play, but I'm not a fan of his personality because mentally he seems to be a little fragile. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying, guys. Appreciate you guys for listening, and I understand that I'm going to get killed from one side or the other. It doesn't matter. This is my opinion. I will always voice it to the 100 to the max. So I head over to the comment section, man, to see what you guys got to say. What do you guys feel? Do you guys agree with me, disagree? You guys want to blame somebody? Whatever that is, the case may be. I'll get into the comment section for a little bit right before we get into this Memphis Grizzlies Laker game, which, by the way, is a must win. We lose tonight, the season is all but over. Now, there still will be a chance, but it's not going to look very good, and the chemistry will continue to fall apart. He said, how do we shift this starting lineup? How do we shift the starting lineup? At this point, I don't know. That's up to Luke Walton, man. I'm not going to make any speculations or nothing because Luke Walton is very unpredictable. I don't know. He said, smash the like button for Dan. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate that, Ryan. Check out my new tweet, Dan. For sure, man. He said, I agree. I'm blaming coaxing mainly. Yeah, you have to. You can't blame one specific player. I agree with that. He said Chris Jones, Zach Randolph would help. I'm not sure. He's kind of old, man. He said, nah, Dan, you're absolutely right, and your opinion's spot on, bro. Thank you, T. I appreciate that. But it's okay. If you guys disagree with me, that's cool. But that's just the way I feel, man. That's just the way I feel about the Lakers. You can't be upset at one particular person because it's just been, man, it's been a wash of a season. It's been a perfect storm of a hell of a bad season because of injuries, because of poor coaching, because of failed trades, stuff like that. It's been a nightmare, and I would never been able to predict this. I easily predicted us getting to 50. We had the talent to do it. We didn't have the coaching. We didn't have the health, and it looks like we don't have the mentality. So he said, I'll stop hitting you, Dan. Also, I like the starting lineup. It's just Luke's game plan, which are ass. Now, you don't have to stop hitting me anytime, bro. I appreciate all you guys. Even if you guys don't agree with me, I appreciate your opinions, man. What's up, Hitman? How you doing, brother? LeBron didn't trade any of the young core. No, he didn't trade any of the young core. However, his agent, Rich Paul, was heavily involved. And where Rich Paul's involved, LeBron's involved. Everybody knows that. But, again, it's not any one particular person's fault at all. And you can blame whoever makes you feel better at the end of the day to blame. That's fine, but it's not going to change the fact that winning cures everything. As long as we're losing, the fingers are going to go out everywhere. It's always been like that in the history of LA. We just have a big fan base and we have a lot of media exposure. They love talking, especially negative about us, but they just love it. He said, what's up, bro? We still got a chance. We got to stay positive. Absolutely. I'm still looking at the little things, man, whether we make the playoffs or not. I want to continue to see the young core develop. I want to continue to see improvements overall on the team. And, I always hear from day one, man. I'll stay here. He said, it's not over till it's over. I agree with that, Hitman. Absolutely. We're going to the playoffs. I sure as heck hope so. Going to playoffs will cure a lot of criticism and stuff like that. But we'll see. I'm going to hold my breath for it. He said, never thought that I'd say this, but pull the trigger and sign Melo. We desperately need some half-court offense. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. Hey, what's up, Combat? How you doing, Brody? If you just got here, I suggest y'all rewind the video because I got into some important points that I feel like we needed to address. So, the blame game and finger pointing is just a waste of time unless we allow it to bring in improvement. Absolutely, T. And that's what I'm talking about. It does not matter who you blame. At the end of the day, as long as we're losing, everybody's gonna have to get some blame eventually. Sign DeAndre, not Melo. I would love DeAndre, but I'm not even sure. Is he a free agent yet? I'm not even sure if the Knicks are going to cut him. We'll see. We'll see if New York is going to cut him. If they do cut him, absolutely, he would be a prime candidate to be signed by the Lakers. Whether you like him or not, you have to. At the end of the day, you have to go out here and make improvements to your team. DeAndre has never been a favorite of mine because he's very limited offensively. He struggled throughout his career at free throws. But right now, if he can stay healthy, I'm not sure if he's healthy or not, but if he can stay healthy, then that would be perfect. Yeah, that's what I heard. Last I heard, too, is that New York was trying to keep DeAndre Jordan to try to recruit Kevin Durant. So, I don't know. He said, do you think they will trade for AD now? You know what, man? I'm not even going to speculate on that. Anything is possible. Again, I hope that's not the outcome because you know what New Orleans wanted now. So I hope it doesn't go through now till 2020. Hopefully he signs with us. But a man can dream, right? At the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter. Whatever we do till we start winning, nothing matters, man. Nothing matters. Everything else is going to be criticism. I don't look forward. I don't like watching the media, but I do tune in sometimes just to see where their train of thought is, how they're trying to brainwash the masses and who they're trying to blame, But today they actually hit on some important points. Chris Broussard was dead on. I thought Skip kind of made some good points here and there. So at the end of the day, man, we got to keep everything in perspective moving forward. Everything should be in perspective, Somebody said the spammers are LeBron fans. Nah, man, let's not point the finger. I just preached about that, But I'm just blocking them left or right. That's all right. For the day, I'm going to be Andrew Bynum and just swat everybody out the lane. He said AD and LeBron and 13 NBA minimum players are not going to win a chip. That's another good point, Kevin King, because at the end of the day, all it takes is one of them getting injured for your season to be over. So that's the same reason I prefer some depth. But we'll see what the Lakers do moving forward. They're on the clock now because all eyes are on us, and this summer is going to be a crucial one. In order to establish Magic Johnson as either, I think this summer will determine what Magic Johnson is because some people have been on the fence about him. I've liked every move up until recently when he started trading Zubats and he cut Randall for nothing and stuff like that. But other than that, he's made a lot of good moves. Including landing LeBron, whether people want to give him credit for that or not, at the end of the day, he is that guy, man. He's the one who pulled the trigger on these things. He's the one that got the meetings, and he's our home run hitter, man. He is that. So Laker fans needs to stop being fair weather fans and stop bashing the team and coach and star player and when they lose. No, that's where I don't agree with you, brother. I agree that sometimes there is some fair weather fans that like to play the blame game, but I don't think it's any one person's fault. But the coaching staff does carry a lot of weight there. We do need a new coach, regardless of whatever. It's not about finger pointing; it's about improving. So, Dan, you still think we have hope? Of course, I always keep my hope till the very end, till they say the Lakers have officially been eliminated from the playoffs. I will always have hope for the Lakers, man. I've seen magic happen before. I've seen incredible things happen in the past that saved our season. So we'll see, man. I think it's a long season. It's still 23 games left. Last I checked, we're only 3 games out of the 8. So they just got to go on a little run, and they proved that they're capable of doing this earlier in the season. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get Lonzo anytime soon. So that kind of, throws a break in our plans. But other than that, man, we'll see. He said Magic gave the Nets an all-star. Shake my head for nothing. I'm not even going to address that. I've already addressed that. You guys know that's not even accurate. But that's what you want to believe. Again, that's your opinion. We will win tonight, taking that to the grave. Not to mention that Russell Westbrook, as great as a season as he's been, I'm sorry, not Russell Westbrook, D'Angelo Russell, as great of a season as he's been having, he barely made it to the All-Star team, and that was because of injury. He was an injury reserve hand selected by the commissioner. Again, not hating. All I'm saying is he did that barely in the East. Had he stayed out West, he wouldn't have been an All-Star. Let's keep it real. Too many guards out here. So I think that trade was best for both sides. Number one, after what he did, that killed the chemistry in our locker. And number two, he needed to get out of the pressure of LA of being the number 2 pick. So I think that trade worked out well for both sides for the time being. Now, we also got Kuzma out of that. So I always find it funny how nobody ever mentions that. But everybody says we could have still traded for Kuzma. No, we don't know that for sure. From what I heard, there was teams right behind the pick that we traded for that were trying to pick him up. So you just never know. At the end of the day, you got to take everything into perspective. I'm happy for D'Angelo Russell, but if D'Angelo Russell's all it takes to land LeBron, then I'd say it was a trade worth making. And again, the jury's still out on LeBron till we get him a second superstar and a better coach. So I'm gonna rest my laurels on that. Hey Dan, do you like the Lakers? Do I like them? Absolutely not. I love the Lakers. There's a difference between liking and loving, man. I breathe for the Lakers, man. You know that, though. Almost game time for sure. So I'll take one more question before I get off, guys, and then we'll go from there. He said, D'Angelo wouldn't have been who he was today if he'd been coached by Luke Walton. Another great point. He said, Dan, be honest. Kobe or LeBron is better. You know how I feel about that, man. I already beat the dead horse. I'll take a killer any day over any stats that you could put in front of me. So, I'm a Kobe guy. But LeBron is a top 5 player. He's getting up there at least, in the history. So he will end up a top 5 player for sure. Let's stay positive, though, guys. Hopefully we can win tonight. And hopefully, this propels us and stride towards the playoffs. But we'll see what happens, guys. Keep it locked right here. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys post-game. So peace out.